Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to look at none other than OKC. We're going to look at three of their close games, the Timberwolves, the Golden State Warriors, and the Boston Celtics, and look at how they tried to be exploited on offense as well, and compare what these three teams did to try and limit OKC and see how well it worked. Let's go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the perspective of OKC on defense. So we're going to see, first off, do they play pretty good one-on-one defense? So they're known for being young, athletic, good rotation, seem pretty good team fundamentals. And so this possession we're watching in particular, just how well they play one-on-one on defense. If you don't provide an advantage, do they essentially lock down all the defenders? So we have Jaylen Brown, obviously trying to attack. Defense stays in front of him very, very well, not giving him any room to effort. And then if he makes a gamble, makes a mistake, they are quick to pounce on the ball and attack in transition. However, the majority of times in the fourth quarter, the Celtics didn't simply try and attack one-on-one, they tried to hunt for a mismatch. And the mismatch they usually tried to attack was Hartenstein. If Hartenstein was in the game, they tried to exploit him one way or the other. We're going to look at some ball screens here in a second, but to start off with, they tried to attack his help attitude in the first place. So he's guarding Al Horford here, so as Jrue Holiday represents coming downhill, or as Kristaps Porzingis represents rolling to the rim, Hartenstein feels like he has to be the one that helps over if there's that advantage. So because he's the one that's going to help over, you have defender attached, because you know the Celtics are going to shoot the ball. Al Horford is the one that's open, and it's a tough closeout for Hartenstein to be able to close all the way there, and Al Horford is going to shoot that ball every single opportunity he gets with the Celtics. But then, frankly, the more common way the Celtics went to it in this game was attacking the ball screen in particular. They wanted to get Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum with Hartenstein on them. So first off, the first thing we can see is OKC switched this. Didn't try and fight over the screen, nothing. They essentially allowed this to happen and said, this is our best advantage. And so Jason Tatum tries to attack, and Hartenstein, I think, personally does a decent job of staying in front. I mean, Jason Tatum's a good driver for sure. However, he does get a little off balance, and Jason Tatum gets to the rim. And so this is the question. When this help comes right here, are the defense going to rotate it? Are the Celtics going to be able to punish it? So Jason Tatum does the right thing, kicks it to Derek White. And so then you're going to have Dort that's going to close to White. Essentially, you're going to have Jaylen Brown that's going to be open temporarily. Now, OKC does a good job recognizing what the rotations are. Dort goes here, 22 to 22 comes here. And so they do a good job still contesting this late. But I don't know if that's still a shot that you want to give up to the Celtics. They miss it, but maybe still not a shot that you want to give up. Again, same thing. We're watching ball screen right here. We're getting Hartenstein. Again, OKC concedes it. Doesn't try and fight it. They just switch it, which I personally like. And so then, after they switch, and this is slightly questionable, I'm not sure about that, then they go to essentially double to get the ball to Jason Tatum's hand because they don't want that advantage. So they throw the ball to Al Horford. That creates an advantage, and you get another very open look, this time for Jrue Holiday, and I don't know, I'm less questionable. That's probably not a shot you want to give up. A pretty open shot for a team that shoots at a very high volume and very high percentage. And then after Derek White snags that rebound, or snags the steal, you can see they're going to go back to the same concept. Again, Hartenstein's over here, and he's on Jaylen Brown, so the Celtics are like, yep, let's move it, take advantage of that. Jaylen Brown goes to attacks the high leg right there, goes to get downhill, loses control of the ball a little bit, so I think that throws it off. But I'm pretty surprised he doesn't get a foul call here, frankly, because Hartenstein's got the hand on him. They've just been calling that quite a bit. I'm fine with it being a no call, but I wouldn't bank on that being a no call. Final possession we're going to look at here with the Celtics. Same thing. This time, instead of just having Al Horford come up to set the screen, they're going to set a screen beforehand, which just caused Hartenstein to be a little bit farther behind the play. So Hartenstein's a little slow with the getting around Derek White. Derek White's grabbing a little bit maybe, but that gives Jason Tatum a little bit of space up here, and he shoots that ball with confidence. Again, not like just a great shot, but a pretty good shot from a very good shooter. All right, so then we jump to the Warriors, and we're going to see the exact same concept, just kind of in a different way. So they're still trying to attack Hartenstein, but this time they're trying to do it with their gravity on the outside, because obviously Steph instead of driving downhill. So we're watching Hartenstein in particular. So as this screen is set, we're going to see OKC kind of like a late switches between these two guards. Hartenstein then knows Steph Curry obviously can shoot this ball immediately, so he has to be up here so he can put a hand up. Okay, so he's up there. Then his original defender recovers. The original defender after the switch recovers. So when 22 gets here, that means Kevon Looney is going to be here, open down here in the middle for a period of time. And so The question is, how is OKC going to handle that rotation? And so SGA steps up, does the right thing, stepping up. And so he essentially needs to hold his ground before Hartenstein can recover. And then Dort can rotate back over here behind it. But Kevon Looney does the right thing, catches it strong. We can see Gary Payton cuts right here. And so that's obviously going to put a strain on defense. Obviously, Looney could potentially make that pass. It's a difficult pass, but he just goes up with it because he sees SGA's on him and gets the foul. So that is a question for whether OKC is okay putting SGA in that position and giving Looney free throws. I mean, that's probably not where you want your best player to be, frankly. But we'll see if they maintain that same philosophy against teams with good shooters on the perimeter. And then finally, as the Timberwolves, as I was watching, there wasn't any one particular way the Timberwolves kind of came back into this game. They went on like a crazy run to end it. They shot extremely difficult shots, and they made them. Like, that's good defense from Caruso. And then there was a couple in transition where they also looked to attack Caruso. But again, I don't really think it was bad defense from OKC. And the Timberwolves didn't really do anything specific to try and exploit it. And so we'll look at them more when we talk about the offense. Like, we'll come back to this game and see what the Timberwolves did on defense in particular. But I don't think they did anything in particular to exploit OKC's defense. And so essentially what we saw from OKC's perspective that teams tried to attack Hartenstein in two different ways. One was obviously through getting a switch and just attacking him one-on-one. And two was trying to get Hartenstein involved in coming up to the ball screen and getting the big rolling downhill. And so that's one thing that we're going to have to watch in the playoffs. Does OKC stick with Hartenstein's minutes? Do they try and limit it? Or, I mean, I don't know what Chet Holmgren's exact timeline is, but do they go with a smaller, more switchable lineup so they don't have that risk of getting exposed with the slower big on the floor? If you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe. Next week, I will do an offensive perspective looking at OKC and the defense, how the defense is played against them. Feel free to check that out. But most importantly, have a blessed rest of your day.